Hello everyone, welcome back to the video series on vbscripting. So in this video we will look at the conditional statements, if and select case. So let's look at a very basic if condition, and then we'll dive into more complex if condition statements. And to begin with, let us not even get into the code. Let us keep it very simple. Let's take a look at this little sentence here. If it rains, then I like drinking tea. If this is making sense to you, I can guarantee you the fact that you actually know the if condition in vbscripting. And now, it's quite simple, right? If it rains, then I'm gonna, or at least I like drinking tea. There's a condition there. So if it rains, then I'm gonna drink tea. So if I were to write code for the same sentence, then I'm gonna make it a little bit, look like code and make minor adjustments. So what I did is I kind of took that and said, hey, if rains, if this is true, if it rains, then drink tea. And if I kind of know that if syntax, and that's the reason why I wrote it that way. If it rains, I kind of converted it rains into this, and then I like drinking tea, I kind of converted that into drink tea, and at the end of the sentence you have a period, meaning that's the end of the sentence. Same way with if condition, you use and if. That's a syntactical way of saying that the if condition is now complete. So this is almost like a period in a sentence. So that's where you're ending. So that's kind of the first step into the if condition. Let's look at the example. It's right below that. So here what we are trying to do is we have a number. By the way, you might have already noticed I don't have all that option explicit, resume on error resume. I don't have any of that sort, because the main focus of this script is to make sure that you all understand if condition. So here, getting back, I have a variable x and have set it to 50, and I have 3 lines here. It says if x, which is 50, is greater than 5. In this case, of course, it's going to be true. So if this condition is true, then what? So here, if it rains, then I'm gonna do whatever is in there. Of course, I have drink tea there, but in this case, so if this condition is true, meaning 50 greater than 5, that is true, then I'm displaying a message saying, message A, the number is greater than 5, right? So let's go ahead and run this and see the output. It directly says, message A, that's coming from there, says the number is greater than 5. Let's do this. Let's make it 4, which we know is less than 5. That means if we look at the code, if x is greater than 5, which is 4 greater than 5, we know that's false. Let's see if this actually goes inside the if condition, because technically it should not. Let's see. Okay, I double clicked, ran the script. If you want to run it using a command prompt, just to make sure that you all see it, that the script is M04. It's the very first one, 01F, right? Nothing happened, because since the condition is false, it didn't go in. It will never go there. So let's say, let me adjust it a little bit. I'm going to make it 6 and use the same command prompt here to run the same script. I got a message here, the number is greater than 5. So here, the basic thing here is, when we saw the sentence, if it rains, so if that were to be true, then I'm going to drink tea. or at least like drinking tea. It's the same way. So if whatever follows if this condition is true, then whatever follows then till the end, that gets executed. So that's a basic construct for if condition in vbscripting. There's nothing more to it. I mean, you may see complex if condition statements nested one between the other, like one inside the other. That's fine. It's still the if condition. There might be multiple if conditions. We'll look at that as well. But this is the basic construct that you have to understand. It has to be clear. Okay? Once this is there, then the rest is walk in the park. So let us go ahead and enhance this script a little bit. I'm going to get these lines. Okay, paste it right there. So we have a condition for x being greater than 5, and then we have a condition for x equal to 5, and for another condition for x that is less than 5. So let's see how this works. Let's put number 1. So I'm going to run the script. I have message C, which is this one here. It says the number is less than 5, and we know that because it's checking all three conditions. This condition is met, so it actually skipped. I mean, when it was running, it couldn't even get inside this if condition. That's the reason why it could not display any of these messages and message B. So let's give it a 10 and run the script again. Now we have message A, the number is greater than 5. And we'll test the last condition, which is 5 itself. Message B, the number is equal to 5. So all I'm trying to demonstrate here is that when you put a condition here, and if the condition is true, that's when the statements inside the if condition gets executed. So this is a basic construct. I'm sorry, basic if construct, and I just had 3 separate if statements. Okay, now let's I hope you all followed this basic construct. Let's get into the next script and look at a little more complex. And now this is if then else. Again, here the first was if then, and that's when that was the end of the if statement. But here, if then else. So when the condition is true, you have something to do, and then if the condition is false, then you're doing something else. So you have 2 things. So kind of to revisiting now with a full-blown style. We have option explicit. I have commented on it or resume next if I need to. I have my the site title. I declare dim. So I kind of now have the whole thing. Now look at the very simple one. Again, this is same as the first script. And number is 10. I mean x is 10, and if x is greater than 5, then it will hit this particular message line, which we know that it will work. And then I have another different construct here, which is if then else. So here I had declared a count variable, and count is equal to 2. If count is equal to 2, then. So if it is true, then it will go inside. Inside where? It will go into this, into the line 34. If you have something else here, it will process that as well, or it will interpret that as well. But if this is not true, then it will go to here, else condition. If it is not true, then what is the next thing, or else. So here, if this is not true, then it will check else if count is equal to 1. So if it is 1, then it will execute the line right after that, or lines. It could have, there could be multiple message lines there. So it doesn't matter how many lines you have here, they all will be executed or interpreted. But if this is false, again, here let's assume that it's false here. If it is, because it's 2 here, with this example, This will fail, so this will never get executed. If your count is equal to 1, that is also incorrect or false, so it will never run these lines. Then it says else if count equal to 2, which is true. If it is true, we know, then it goes inside that if condition and execute the lines or interpret those lines. So with the value of 2, it will display this message. Else, the meaning if it is not 0, if it is not 1, and if it is not 2, then you get a message saying that count did not meet the criteria. So here count is equal to 0, equal to 1, equal to 2, and it did not meet the criteria. So here, this is a construct where, if then else, there are multiple else if statements. So within one if construct, you're checking multiple conditions. So let's go ahead and run the script for 2 and see how this works. Okay, the number is greater than 5. Looks like I executed the wrong script. Oh, I'm sorry. It is the right script because this that the number is greater than 5 is coming from the line 25. So here the count is equal to 2. So it skipped this one because it was false. It skipped this as well because it was false, and then it went here. It said equal to 2. It worked, right? So let us go ahead and make a quick change to the script and run it again. I want to make it equal to 1. Let's save the script and run it again. So number is equal to 5. That's coming from line 25. And count is equal to 1, which we know it's coming from here because the condition is true. The second time, third time, we know that worked. So now let's quickly run with 0. Now what let's do with a 5. Control save, run the script. Number 5, that's from coming from line number 25. Count did not meet the criteria. So since the count is 5, count equal to 1, of course it is false. Count equal to 1, of course it's false. Count equal to, that's false as well. So it met the last else condition. So if everything else here is false, then it's going to run this by default. That's how this works, this construct. It's if then else and else if, and then the last one is the else condition. So that's another construct for if condition. Let's go ahead and take a look at one more very simple example in if, but this time we are going to look at the logical operators. Remember, when we were looking at operators like a 3-4 minute video, I was indicating the fact that we will be looking at operators, I mean to say more operators with if conditions. Okay, here it is. So here, after declaring these options, then I have two variables, name 1, name 2, and then I have declared the values of John and Peter. And here, this is an less than greater than symbol, which is not. Here it says if n1, name 1, sorry, if name 1 not equal to name 2. If this is not equal to name 2, then the condition is met. But that means this condition is true. So here, John, it's kind of a little bit trickish here because we are saying not and saying it is true. So here, John and Peter. So John and Peter. What this means is, it is saying that John is not equal to Peter. We know that's true because John is not equal to Peter. They are two different strings. Even though it says not equal to, but the condition is met. Because the condition is met, this message will be displayed. So let us just run this portion and see how that works. Okay, names did not match because it compared John and Peter with this condition saying not equal to, which is true. They're not equal. The condition is met, and that is true for as far as if condition goes. That's the reason why it got into this line 24. So that's about that. And let's look at logical operator AND. Here I have variables x1 through x4, and I've declared values. X1 is equal to 1, x2 is equal to 1, x3 is equal to 1, but x4 is equal to 2. Here, let me make a simple change for the testing purposes for now. So here what I did is I'm saying if x1 equal to x2 and x3 equal to x4. So here 1 is equal to 1, which is true, and 1 is equal to 1, which is true. The AND operator, the way it works is both the conditions have to be true for it to meet. I mean, for it to satisfy or for it to become true, both the conditions have to be true. So if the conditions are true, that's when it will go inside this if condition. So let me run the same script. So names did not match. We know that it's coming from line 24. Both the conditions, both the conditions were true. That's coming from here, line 38, because both the conditions were met. The way this works is with the AND operator, and the way it works is it compares expression 1 and another expression 2. So if both the expressions have to be true in order for the expression to be true. If one of this is false, if this is false and the second expression, let's say, is true, or if the first is true and the second expression is false, or if first expression is false and the second expression is false, in all three cases the expression becomes false, because both have to be true in order for the whole expression to become true. So that's exactly what happened here. So let me make a change so that you all understand. Let's say I'm gonna make a change. I'm gonna put 30, 20 here and 20 here, and let me save it. Look what happened. So x1, x2, 1 equal to 2, which is true, and x3 equal to x4, which is 20 equal to 20, which is true. That means the condition is met. Both the sides of the AND are true, meaning the if condition has been met. So this message, we should see this message. Let's go ahead and run that real quick. Names did not match, both the conditions were true. Well, it worked. Let's make this 25 and see what happens. So here x1 equal to x2, which is 1 equal to 1, which is true, and x3 equal to x4, which is 20 equal to 25, which is false. True and false, meaning it should never display this message. So okay, names did not match, we have no message. So this condition was never met, so I mean this line 37 will never be executed. So that's how the logical AND operator works. I mean, you can convert it into OR, OR, and the same thing. OR, again, we know, it's either one of them can be true for it to work. And simple, I'll just change this to OR, save it. Now, because x1 is equal to x2 is true, which works, but x3 is equal to x4 is false. So it really doesn't matter for it. Okay, that's the first message from line 24. But of course, I mean, the text itself is incorrect here. Both the conditions are true, but the point here is that the condition for the if was was evaluated to be true. That's why this message came out as a display. Okay. So that's about the if conditions, and I will have part 2 for for discussing conditional statements, because there's one more statement to discuss, which is select case. We'll discuss that in the part 2 of this video. Okay, I'll see you there.